Just chilling today.
Control for Gateway. Orbiter armor tracted. Out.
Roger, Houston.
We have GLS confirmation of fuel and main engine check.
Roger, Control. How are we looking for that 11:28 launch time? Over.
You chilling? I'm watching Space Ghost in the background.
Weather's first rate.
Copy that, Houston. Roger.
Auto sequence start in T-minus 30 seconds, Gateway.
Visors closed.
External vent closed and hydrogen pressure is building for takeoff.
Roger, over.
I don't even know what the rate is or the rate type. Might help if I go to the internet. Poo poo platter. What a high chat. Ooh. All right. Going on. Very tight. What do I have that can bite very tight? I do have Berserker. What's that, Clodsire? Bizor? Alright, let me try Clodsire. Hello, Tristan. How's it doing? How you doing? For the record, I have no game audio on my headset. All right. Moltar. I don't know what the strategy is here. Barb. Super effective. Ding. Fear not, for you are here. What's up, Shinobi? How's it going? Oh, not the encore. Set up work, my guy. I was just kind of busy today, so got a late start. I sworn my... thought this guy had the water absorb. I guess not. Stretch. Yeah, I thought I had water absorbed on this guy. Why incarnate poison point makes no sense to have on a raid Pokemon. Pokemon, you're so cool. Thank you. I remember using Clodsire for a water type Pokemon raid. I should have had multiple or water absorb. Space Ghost butt. You guys want to watch Space Ghost with me? We just chilling watching Space Ghost with the homies.
Would be nice one time if you introduced me too. What's so funny?
Moltar. You're only the director. No one sees or cares about you. Zorak and I are the talent.
I thought you hated Zorak.
I do hate you.
Hey, Space Ghost, wanna hear a funny joke?
See, Moltar, this is what I'm talking about. Quiet, Moltar. Your heat will throw off his timing, and that's why you suck.
Okay, here we go.
Ah, water absorb. There we go.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
You.
Well done, Zorak. So anyway, Moltar, I'm always open to ideas that might make the show better.
How about I come out at the beginning of every show and hit you upside the head with a hammer,
I'd watch that show.
and light your teeth on fire and puncture your eardrums with golf tees until your spinal fluid leaks out?
Thank you, Moltar, but...
But I do the hammer part. You can do the lighting his teeth on fire part.
What? No, I do the hammer.
I do the
You
hammer.
always do the hammer.
I'm the hammer. Me. Zorak is the hammer. Zorak is the hammer.
All right, it's settled. Zorak is the hammer. Moltar, you suck. Now, get off your metal ass and bring in my first guest. But not right now.
Alright.
Where'd he go?
On the stats. I might get my
Moltar,
stats deleted.
the louder the funnier.
What?
Just do it.
Is this all she can do is sing?
The mumbling one.
What an ass.
Wait, is singing a water type move or what's going on here?
Turn it off, Moltar. There's nothing in it.
Turning off in 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Is it a fairy or normal type?
Alright, let's see.
I can't believe you said ass, Moltar.
Space Ghost, you're an
Makes
ass.
no sense why it doesn't affect Clodsire, but okay.
Mercy. Love that line. Love that line. Now, what are we doing?
I've got Todd Berry.
Who is this guy? I've never seen him. Has he been on Russell Simmons?
I don't know.
Why don't we get him on the show? Screw Todd Berry. We sure we need this guy?
Quit looking at me.
I've never even heard of this guy.
Well, whatever's going on,
Hey,
I'll take
Todd.
it.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
It says here you've got a car.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Oh, you do. And it's nice. I washed it.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
Thank you. So, tell me about your private life. I wanna find out personal details.
I don't know.
Answer me.
Alright, I don't even know what I just said.
Yeah, I want to call you later at home. You'll have to give me your home number because I'm going to ask you how much they're paying you.
100 million.
You're kidding me. That's weird.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. He
Two more
said,
purses?
screw you, you ass.
Yeah, you're an
Hopefully
ass.
she doesn't do another stat reset. Then that's gonna be
Ah,
kind of
yes.
annoying.
Todd, this crow is trying to tell us something.
No.
I don't understand what's going on with this.
Space cops coming?
No, it's something about your car. It's in danger.
Are you serious?
Crows aren't interested in you. They like cars.
Hey, who doesn't?
Shh, this is important.
I don't know what's going on, but I'll take it. This is like nothing.
I'd better check on your car.
Hey, Baldy! Hecklings are cool. Do you want people heckling you while you're playing the keyboard guitar?
Oh, that crow is fully. This car's perfectly safe. Hey, a grocery store.
That's not very funny. I'm very tired, Moltar. So long, you know what I'm talking about. So far, you know what I'm talking about.
I was hoping to be doing that kind of damage earlier. Psychic. Uh-oh.
Get your ass
I
over
don't do
here!
too much.
Now!
Hell, even at the comic shop here in town, like the Moltar action figure is marked down 50%. It's the only one.
That's more that exposure thing you're asking about.
Well, they want like $13 for it, so I guess they're selling it for like $6.50 or something. It's sad.
Right here, buddy.
I don't know, the Zorak one is $14.95, so I mean, they didn't even price Moltars. I mean, they're all supposed to be priced the same.
Do you have some food?
I never shut my refrigerator door. I just... Moo, give me some of
Still
that.
not doing too much damage, but
What food are you gonna get? Can you get Thai food? I really like Thai food.
Zorak, Moltar, huddle up. This guy's obviously hungry, but we shouldn't have to share our food. Zorak, you tell him. You'll make it funny. On two. Ready? Break. Ready? Break. Ready?
Hey, funny man. Got a joke for you.
What would
Man,
that
water
demonstrate to
absorb
You're not getting
wildfire
anywhere,
works
King Crow.
perfectly. I don't know why
Well, thanks for coming on.
That's it?
Yep.
ability was.
How about a big
changed
hand for the hungry comedian? Isn't he great? Oh, hell. Damn it. What? The bees. I forgot to tell the bees. Well, thank you, bees. I am looking forward to it. Oh, well, that's very kind of you, bees. Dickie said I could. What do you mean? I did too pay you back. Look, Jack, that is such BS. What do you want from me? It's got low mileage and it does pull to the right. Now,
There goes the car. Oh, they took a stop sign. What?
okay then.
All right. GG's. Thank you, Shinobi.
And so that's the story of the birds and the bees.
So that car crash was a metaphor for when the male sperm hits the ovum?
What? No, bees steal cars.
Oh, so the crow that shot lasers at Zorak, that was the metaphoric sperm.
Bit of Slarga. Crows shoot lasers. Pay attention.
What the hell are these Pokemon doing?
Why don't you put your clothes back on?
Never! Greetings. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Tonight, my guest is Corey Feldman.
Hey. What's with the shark?
That's been there for over a year.
Oh,
Okay, these are the
well, I
times.
don't remember it.
Well, it was 1 year ago today. I brought it in and said, here is the shark. I'll place it right here.
What did I say?
You said you were so excited about this merger that you couldn't speak.
What merger?
The merger between this talk show and that shark. I know I told you this.
Well, I don't remember.
Look, that is Old Kentucky Shark, and he has been there. Okay, Zorak and Moltar? Are we clear now?
Yeah. You don't want me to play you to the desk?
When have we ever done that? We've never done it that way. And if you think you're going to get sympathy from the shark, well, then you won't. Stupid. Now, let's welcome Corey Feldman.
Hello.
Or Willie Nelson.
It's not Corey
really
Feldman.
doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Maybe it does matter. Hello, Willie. Do you know Old Kentucky Shark?
Willie Nelson looks just as old now as
Well,
he
allow
did
me.
back then.
Old Kentucky Shark, this is Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, Old
Okay.
Kentucky Shark.
My pleasure.
See, Old Kentucky Shark is the brand new mascot of the failing liquor chain that bought us.
Oh, so now there's a liquor store involved.
Look, in the heat of conversation, Zorak, I may have said certain things I don't believe to be true.
So, you lied.
Are you slow? The alleged lie that you might have heard me saying allegedly moments ago, that's a parasite that lives in my
Allegedly?
neck. Mars will never put up with this.
What planet are you from?
Planet of Hollywood. Or you can order a hamburger with predator braids. You ever been there?
I probably have, but I don't,
You would know if you'd been there. Your guitar would explode in your hands.
That's neat. Where you get
You
that?
already did a
I
raid
don't know if you
before.
know him. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Earlier today, Shinobi.
Now, that's a hell of a deal.
Oh yeah, the tag says made in Malaysia by Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Don't you think that's weird that the tag would say that?
And yet it does. See?
Do y'all have cake houses in Spaceville?
What's that bear doing?
He's walking around.
He's probably going south to mate with birds. Bears are crazy, Willie. They'll bite your head if you're wearing steak on it.
Yeah, oh yeah, those are neat.
Yep.
Not today.
How you doing?
That was your first
This
time
next
beating
question is brought to you by Old Kentucky Shark of Kentucky Nightmare Talk Show Liquor Corporation. You might remember him.
Yeah.
He's the fish you met earlier.
He's my friend, too. I like him.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Am I supposed to
Didn't
ask
even
you
have a
this
strap
question,
Pokemon this
or
time.
you ask me? How's this work?
That was kind of easy. Not gonna lie.
Okay, I'll just jump in here. Willie, who wrote the extremely famous phrase, "A shark on whiskey is mighty risky.
Sir.
A shark on beer is a beer
No
engineer."
luck. It was all skill.
Give up?
Yeah. Yeah.
The answer we're looking for, Willie, is Dr. Worm.
Who's Dr. Worm?
Nobody. So shut up.
You're a good-looking cowboy there. You got on him.
Yes, I am.
You're a space cowboy. That's what you are.
Space Cowboy.
4. Some people call me the space cowboy.
That's
Do you have a second line?
Dumb people haul trash around. I'm still working on it.
I think it's got some potential there. I need to.
That's good. Because it's done. Zorak! Damn shark! Zorak, you must be secreting something that's attracting this bear!
I haven't done anything. Except for this. Merry Christmas!
Zorak,
Merry
take your
Christmas.
glands outside!
Okay.
Phew. God, crack open a
Didn't
window.
you shield at 4 stars?
Wow, Space Ghost, man. Crack a window, will you?
Crack a window, Willie, huh? Crack open all the... Ah!
Oh, there we go.
Moltar, what's the bear
do.
doing here?
Here, let me show you.
Ah, yes, my documentary. Bears and sharks always travel together. Just look at them, walking through the wooded forest, paw and fin. It's on account of their teeth that makes them nature's best friends. I made this for public television, but they told me it was stupid and grossly inaccurate. You been smoking?
No.
I can smell it in your hair. Crack a window, will ya?
Hey, look at this! That's gonna carry all the way to the village.
There ain't no village.
Moltar, Zorak's secretion will certainly wipe out the village's sandwich shop.
There ain't no village.
Can't attack myself.
The village!
There ain't no village. Hey, Willie. I'm going outside for a smoke.
I was too late. This is all that was left. Their 6-foot party sub. Their king, Randy, made it for me while I waited. Oh. No one will ever know their way of life.
Hey, look over here. Give me that sandwich.
Zorak, get back in here. I didn't give you permission to go outside.
Moltar's out here smoking.
Shut up! Ow! Shark, help! This is BS, man. I'm gonna go see Dr. Worm and reevaluate this merger.
Chicken mutt looking daddy's headbeat ticket.
Yes, I know.
Hey, how you doing, Tex?
Now that bear's a Yankee.
Well, him.
Whoa.
I just
You're about
talked
to say
to
that,
Dr. Worm,
Willie.
and he had some interesting things to say. You get away from me! Okay, then. Willie, I'm just gonna do the show from over here.
Good luck.
Oh, no! Shark, help! Ow! Moltar, we need more shots of the shark. Shake the camera, make it look like you swim.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's great. Where's the shark? You know?
Oh.
Is he around somewhere?
God, I hope so, or that worm's gonna go crazy. Moltar, Willie, will you entertain that bear for a few minutes while I go look for the shark?
Oh, I think I probably overspoke.
Just wave some meat around. Zorak, where's the shark?
He's outside.
Old Kentucky, you shouldn't be out there in that sun. You need to come inside and put on some sunblock and a wide brim. Oh no!
Moltar? No, it was not us.
But it is funny.
What happened?
How
I
did it
missed
happen?
it.
Here, look at this.
Ah, yes, my documentary. Why do sharks explode? This is because sometimes their brains and sexual organs are made out of M80s. Sometimes, to attract mates, a shark will explode.
What the?
And sometimes they explode just to attract giant killer bees. Well, no bees are gonna get in here. Not in my airtight fortress.
Yeah, well, all the windows are cracked open.
Hey man, crack a window open. Oh no!
Attack of the killer bees.
To the creek! Let's talk about what went wrong with tonight's show. Okay, first off, who invited Willie?
You know, I left my jacket back there.
Moltar, it's gone. Long gone. Moltar, what's our depth?
20,000 leagues, sir.
Take her to 21.
21? But why?
When you,
Because it's more fantastical. Don't answer it. It's evil Dr. Reef.
I'm answering it.
Don't. If you open that door, we'll drown.
Oh, yeah? Good.
wait, did he take the whole moon planet with him?
My God! Wooden eels! Surface! Surface! Speed up! No, not that fast! Slow down! I'm blacking out! Zorak is dead! Murdered! Moltar, serve the first course!
Aye, aye, Captain. Coleslaw coming up.
The only thing we can do now is eat. And bring out my first suspect.
Thank you, Mr. Space Ghost.
Buster, Zorak's skull has been fractured with what appears to be a wrench,
This dinner mystery sucks.
which was last in my hand in the veranda where I was loosening the gas pipe.
I see, Space Ghost.
I mean, catch that. Okay.
Is it possible we surface too rapidly?
Blech. That's it. I'm not doing this anymore. This whole thing sucks.
What are you not doing anymore?
This. The whole thing with the sub. We're not underwater. I knew this was a dumbass idea.
Oh man, you better not play that game with me. Zorak could get a nice Jackie Chan chop right in the back of his neck.
Hang on, y'all.
What's that for?
Do not disturb the judge.
Ow!
Dang!
God, that was violent. I blame the sea.
You need to give me a pair of them laser wristo things you be running around the place with.
Why?
I'm gonna use them.
For what?
I might use them to zap you with them.
Okay,
Give them to me.
I will.
Just let me have it.
I will.
Where do you want this, Captain?
We're in silent running here.
Okay, fine.
Moltar, we are in silent running. Do you understand the concept of silent running?
You want another one?
Silent.
Okay, fine.
So why are you giving me such a hard time getting the lasers?
What are you talking about? Moltar, make a fire with these eels.
Aye, aye, Captain.
But be quiet. We're underwater.
No, man, we surfaced.
You handle the salads until you get killed.
You told me to surface, so that's what I did.
Now, woodpile, Did you or did you not masquerade as eels and shock Zorak with that wrench? Answer me! Now what about these beings?
Those must have fallen out of my hair. Well, you're just making all this up? Oh, what? You're the only one that gets to make up?
I don't have anything to combat water types. Do I?
Those are part of the dinner.
No, they're not. They're part of the plot.
They were on the menu.
Murder is on the menu.
Because I use Earthworm Jim.
Bean prints on the wrench. But what is the wrench for?
That's where you were trying to fix the gas leak, and you made it leak.
Is that where I got all these ideas?
What I do.
Because they're brilliant.
Oh, do you?
Hey, break all the pipes in the sub for more good ideas. Dive! Dive! Suck on the pipes!
Space Ghost is definitely with it.
Hang on, Buster. We're going underwater.
All right, Spacey.
Okay.
It's a little freaky, lady.
What happened? Doing that little funny thing. You better watch that, man. Pow! 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 We don't play no games from the year 2000 and change.
Look, I've pieced it together. Zorak wasn't dead, but now he is.
Crazy Zorak, man.
Then you showed up.
Yeah, I know, man, but you know, you seem like a cool cat. You need to just come and hang out with us so we can learn what that touching is all about.
No, hey, man, don't stand on the floor. The floor's spoiled, like milk.
This is so weird, isn't it? Hey,
I'm
hey,
just
Buster.
beating up whatever I can.
Buster,
Yes.
remember when I licked the back of Jack's skull?
Jack?
Level up
Who's Jack?
Pokemon.
Where did Jack come from?
I mean Zorak. Zorak is who I licked. No, wait, no, it was Brack. No, nobody cares. Hey, let's go outside and do the show in the woods. Okay.
I just think this is you know, just the way the events have occurred in the last year.
Gliding
really
feels so
disastrous
slow now
for
compared to flying.
not just people, but you know, entertainment and you know, many other things on a whole. And
I'm not getting one good idea.
I think that if we don't start,
Let's go back inside where the gas is. Get up, Zorak. The gas is giving me an idea. Everything I do and say
Should be recorded by cameras. Do you think that Walt would be interested in that?
Walt Disney's dead.
Who killed Walt Disney? With a wrench.
No one.
Walt Disney makes me sweat. Is he gonna sue us?
Walt Disney is dead.
I know. My God, how many times do I have to tell you that? Hey, Wood. We should build something.
Wow.
Ooh.
What's
I
it
don't want to
do?
watch this.
It's symbolic, Mole.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast Iceberg Explained.
Out of every single show that I've discussed so far on this channel, there's none that fascinate me more than 1994's Space Ghost Coast to Coast. For those of you that don't know what this is, allow me to explain. This show is based on the 1966 animated superhero show entitled Space Ghost. It takes the characters from that show and places them in a talk show environment. It utilizes reused animation cells from the original show and repurposes it to be applied for the talk show format. It focuses on three characters in particular. Space Ghost, who has taken the mantle of the talk show host. Zorak, the reluctant band leader who is basically imprisoned by Space Ghost to do the talk show, while constantly getting jabbed in at his captor whenever he can. And Novak, the director and producer of the show, who's in a very similar boat as Zorak, but is also the more level-headed of the duo. There's a lot of history behind the making of this show that I might cover in a later video, but there are a few things that I wanted to cover right now. There are three reasons that I find this show to be so fascinating. First, while the Moxie show is Cartoon Network's first original show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast is the first original fully produced in-house at Cartoon Network Studios, going under the name Ghost Planet Industries, which has now been renamed to William Street Productions, which might sound familiar to many of you watching. The show's original run lasted from April 1994 to July 2001, lasting for 6 seasons. At the time of its cancellation, however, there was a new
What's up, Mr. Rainbow? How's it going?
process of being formed that was focused on more
for the
adult-oriented
hydration reminder.
animation that would be set to air later night on the same
you a
network
skater
called
boy?
Adult Swim. Coast to Coast being a show focused
Nope,
towards an
but I
adult
said
audience,
see you later,
jumped ship
boy.
to Adult Swim when the block launched on September 2nd, 2001, airing its first new episode on the Adult Swim run. This new run lasted from 2001
Okay,
to
I'm
2004,
quiet.
with a total of 13 new episodes produced. That may not seem like a lot. The block
Is the
also
YouTube
gained
video too
control
loud?
of the CN run of the episodes, giving them almost 100 episodes to work with, which is not a number to scoff at.
There.
The
How's
show
that?
was later brought back for a third time in 2006, except this time it was bad.
I'm watching YouTube videos. I was just
So fascinating.
just
It's
chilling.
for so many of Adult Swim's originals.
I wasn't gonna get on today, but I remember Pumpkin said that he needed help
Cartoon Planet was
with
direct
with the raid, so I was like, I'll just
21 and the
chill, watch YouTube videos and stream,
and crew members went forward to
play the raids in the background.
forever. And when you circle back and realize that all of this started because some guys thought it'd be funny to take a has-been hero from the 60s and make him a talk show host, it really puts things in perspective. The third reason why this show is so fascinating to me is because on both Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, the show acted as sort of a mascot for both networks, a la SpongeBob for Nickelodeon.
And we beat the raid. Yeah, we beat it first try. We're too good. That's why.
Media and promotional materials were made for this show, some of which were extremely hard to come by, but the few being downright impossible to find. And that's what I am in. Despite the cult following the show has nowadays, there's a lot of good material that's just lost to the sands of time. So I've taken it upon myself to scour the internet, dig through archives, and even commit the cardinal sin of talking to strangers to dig up as much
Talking to
information
strangers.
on Coast to Coast and everything related to it. And I've decided to present my findings to you in the most efficient way I know how.
Watching the Space Ghost Coast to Coast Iceberg.
For starters, I want to thank Hammerman and Captain Bees.
Dragon Ball.
Hammerman
Can't really see the
basically
title,
structured the
but
iceberg video that you see before you, and most of the explanations that you'll be hearing, I'm just relaying the information that he set forth. And both Hammerman and Captain BZ have helped me get way more information and material for this project than I ever would have gotten on my own, so huge thanks to them. I also want to thank the Swimpedia Discord server, who have helped me in getting the necessary information and a few miscellaneous pieces of information here and there to make this as extensive as possible. So, without further ado, let's dive on in.
interrupt transmission.
The interview process for Space Ghost Coast to Coast originally had interns in a Space Ghost costume ask questions.
Ooh,
to
that's
the
a lot of
guests.
candy.
Then the guest responses would be edited onto the show alongside the animated footage. This process didn't always work as intended, with some guests laughing uncontrollably at the costumed interns. One of notice being... This process was replaced with having Space Ghost voice actor George Lowe ask the questions to the guests through a microphone system, which worked out much better.
Now, my program is from outer space, as you know. Have you ever been to outer space?
Other than this particular show that we're doing right now, no, I have never been in outer space.
The old style of getting the interviews will be referenced in the episode Pal Joey, and several raw interviews of the guests done in the newer process are found as bonus features on home video releases of the show, some of which we'll be talking about a little later.
Cartoon Planet.
Cartoon Planet was a spin-off show of Coast to Coast, which originally aired on Cartoon Network and PBS from 1995 to 1998. The show featured Space Ghost, Zorak,
I
and
got
newcomer
Brick
Frank
Braid.
taking the spot of Moltar,
Probably
hosting the show, performing
that
original
to
songs and
salsa,
ad-lib skits in between classic
right?
cartoon features on the show. It also had a segment where Space Ghost, Zorak, and Brak read and responded to fan letters sent in by
5.
viewers, many of which wanted to see Zorak get blasted by Space Ghost, or have Brak or Zorak be the main host of the show.
He'd love to blast me, wouldn't you, Space Ghost?
65 versus 75.
But he can't.
That's a no-brainer.
Because I'm not animated to explode.
Oh, but that does lower the...
Baffler Meal is an episode of Coast to Coast that would also
But I got an
set the bar
Aqua
for
Step.
one of Adult Swim's longest running shows, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The plot revolves around Space Ghost being forced to have Burger Trench's mascots, the Aqua Teens, on his show, and they spend most of their time promoting Burger Trench's fast food and interacting with the episode's guest, Willie Nelson. That episode was initially shelved and reworked into Kentucky Nightmare, an episode with a similar premise which also had Willie Nelson as its guest. However, when Aqua Teen proved to be successful, Baffler Meal aired on Adult Swim in 2003. You'll notice that the designs and voices for a lot of these characters are very beta designy. Like Frylox especially has a different voice and a completely different design, having arms and legs.
Could you get off that ad limit, please? I need to sense hungry teens with it.
Master Shake doesn't have his hand glove things and is voiced by a different voice actor. But Meatwad is basically the same, just a little more depressed. So not really the same at all.
Meatwad.
The Brak Show was a spin-off of Coast to Coast that originally aired from 2001 to 2003 on Adult Swim, which revolves around the life of Brak and his sitcom-style family, that being an alien mother and human father, as well as their neighbor Zorak, who primarily hangs out with Brak just to have him do something for Zorak's benefit, and Thundercleese, a Gundam-style robot who often blasts Zorak due to his troublemaking. The show was done in the style of a sitcom, with the first season having title cards referencing famous sitcoms, but was unfortunately cancelled due to low ratings. I might talk about this in a later video because it's actually quite fascinating how much people are thinking of the Brak Show be like the next big thing for adults. There's a lot to go over with that one, trust me. Woody Allen's Pulsar is a unique episode of Coast to Coast, which showcases live-action reenactments of well-known moments from earlier Coast to Coast episodes. The episode is hosted by James Kirkconnell, who also hosted a previous Coast to Coast episode, Storybook Cast, and
James
Andy
Kirkconnell
portrays Space Ghost in the live-action reenactments featured in this episode.
I want that costume.
No Woody Allen, in case you were wondering.
Harvey Birdman. Fellow Hanna-Barbera superhero Birdman made several major appearances on Coast to Coast, notably guest hosting for 2 episodes. On the show, he was named Harvey Birdman, a name which writer Evan Dorkin came up with. The first of these episodes, Pilot, shows a failed pilot of Birdman Coast to Coast, where Birdman fails to interest his guests, as well as Zorak and Moltar, gets mocked by his crew and guests, easily loses focus, and even falls asleep due to the lack of sun energy needed to keep him awake, forcing the producer to fire Birdman and announce a replacement show, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, much to Zorak and Moltar's horror. Birdman failed in hosting duties while Space Ghost was in jail in the sequel, to better results until Space Ghost arrives to resume his hosting duties, resulting in a short battle between the 2 heroes. On Coast to Coast, Birdman was characterized as a loser, shown to be living near dumpsters in some episodes, such as Telethon and Art Show, and struggling to get his life straightened out. However, he would have a far more successful career as a lawyer in the Adult Swim show Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, which is another show I might talk about at a later time. Adult Swim shows are nuts. Kentucky Nightmare. I was just watching that one.
Not too long ago, I mentioned an episode entitled Kentucky Nightmare. This is an episode where Space Ghost has a shark, which is nicknamed Old Kentucky Shark, on the show as a result of a merger with the Kentucky
We were literally just watching this
Talk Show
episode.
Liquor Corporation, which has the shark as a mascot. A bear also joins in later on, primarily attacking Space Ghost, and Space Ghost shares different clips from his documentary on bears and sharks throughout this episode. Willie Nelson is in the episode as the guest, with footage that would also be used in Baffler, the episode which Kentucky Nightmare started off as before getting reworked. Kentucky Nightmare is also noticeable for being one of the 2 episodes that aired between the end of Coast to Coast original run and the pickup of new episodes on Adult Swim, the other one being Justice Hole. And it's also noticeable because the shark design used here was later used in another spin-off, 12 Ounce Man.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Another episode that I mentioned earlier, Storybook Cast, recreations of scenes from 2 earlier episodes, primarily
Trogdor?
Banjo and Batmantis, were retold in the style of a children's book, with simplistic pictures to accompany the narration. The episode did not feature any animation. Instead, James Kirkconnell hosted the episode as Kirk the Storyteller, who would tell the amazing tale of the classic superhero Space Ghost,
as Carl the cartoonist, played by Carl Clark, drew the illustrations for the stories that were being told. The episode was made after Kirkconnell approached Cartoon Network about doing a show in a similar style to the public access children's shows that he hosted, where he would narrate a fairy tale, and an artist would draw the illustrations as the story was being told. When Cartoon Network rejected the idea, the Coast to Coast crew embraced it and collaborated with Kirkconnell to make 2 episodes with this format, this one and Woody Allen's Fall Project. The banjo portion of this episode would later again be used in the clip show episode Le Livre d'Histoire. I think I learned French in high school, so I know how to pronounce that.
Adeline. Elevator. Was that from the intro?
For Space Ghost Coast to Coast, but was actually the third episode that aired during the show's run. The guests on the episode are Judy Tenuta, who would later voice Black Widow on the show, as well as return as a guest for the episode Anniversary, psychologist Nikki Leary, and actress Ashley Judd. The plot of the Zorak and Moltar attempting to escape from Space Ghost through an elevator, hence the episode's name, while Space Ghost interviews his guests. This episode, along with a lot of the other early episodes from Season 1, in a more straightforward with Space Ghost interviewing each of these guests with comments from Zorak and Moltar in between, and all 3 characters had voices that were very close to their original voices from the 60s show. So it's relatively like Gary Owen's voice for him, and C. Martin Croker did Zorak and Moltar in a very similar manner to Don Messick. After the first 4 episodes, Lowe and Croker began developing their own interpretations for the characters' voices. The first 2 episodes that aired for the show were Spanish translation, with guest Kevin Lee, Susan
I was just watching that one too.
And Gilligan, with guest Bob Denver, Don Wells, and Russell Johnson, all actors from the classic TV show Gilligan's Island, with Elevator following these 2. When C. Martin Croker died in 2016, Adult Swim aired Elevator in honor of his work, with a special dedication at the end of the era.
R.I.P.
This is one of my favorite episodes to talk about, so I might geek out a little bit. I'm letting you know. President's Day Nightmare, also known as the world premiere tune-in, was a special episode of Coast to Coast where Space Ghost interviewed various cartoonists, including Craig McCracken and Gendy Tartakovsky, and showed off clips from the shorts they created. While the Council of Doom scored each short, Craig McCracken ultimately won the competition, and his short, The Powerpuff Girls, was played in its entirety at the end of the episode. Other shorts featured in the episode included Dexter's Laboratory by Tartakovsky, Yucky Duck by Pat Ventura, Johnny Bravo by Dan Partible, and Shake and Flick by Gino Matos. The episode would later help develop a new Cartoon Network show, World Premiere Tunes, which was later known as What a Cartoon and The What a Cartoon Show, which showcased these shorts in their entirety, as well as many others from various animators. Several of the shorts featured in this episode and the show it inspired, notably the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory.
By the way, let me know if anybody wants to do the raid.
Later become their own
I'm just chilling today.
Cartoon Network, starting Cartoon Network's original animated shows, known as the Cartoon Cartoons later on.
Space Ghost and Dino Boy.
Space Ghost and Dino Boy was a Hanna-Barbera superhero cartoon show, which originally aired from 1966 to 1967. It featured the adventures of Space Ghost and his sidekicks Jan, Jace, and Blip as they fought intergalactic villains, including Zorak and Moltar. The other portion of the show, Dino Boy in the Lost Valley, focused on a prehistoric superhero who meets dinosaurs and cavemen and protects them from various monsters. This show is where many of the animation found on Coast to Coast originated from. A good majority of Space Ghost animation comes from various shots from many episodes in the series. Some of Zorak's animations are taken from the episodes The Challenge, The Meeting, and The Deadly Trap. And almost all of Moltar's animation originates from the episode The Molten Monsters of
break,
Moltar.
let's go.
Additionally, clips from the episode Zorak are used in the Coast to Coast episode named Zorak, which are used to show off highlights of Zorak's life, notably the first time he encountered Space Ghost.
I think I'm gonna start reading Space Ghost comics. Didn't mean to do that for a minute.
Fire Ant is an episode of Coast to Coast featuring Conan O'Brien as its guest, and where Space Ghost follows a fire ant to its home after getting some parts of his body caught on fire by it. This episode is notable for having two versions. The original longer cut has Space Ghost following the fire ant home for 10 minutes, while a shorter cut removes this part and goes directly to Space Ghost confronting the ant at its home. Additionally, a script reading session done by the show's cast and crew for this episode would air as the previous episode, named Table Read, featuring a behind-the-scenes look at the script reading sessions for a Coast to Coast episode. Table Read had several scenes that were not included in the finalized episode, such as a different flashback featuring a character named Dr. Fishopolis. Additionally, Conan O'Brien's raw interview footage for this episode was included as a DVD bonus feature on the From the Kentucky Nightmare DVD release. Warren is an episode where Space Ghost, Zorak, and Moltar visit Warren, a talking plant, after a replicant of Space Ghost, later named Gary, and voiced by Gary Owens, Space Ghost's original voice actor, which is, I just think that's pretty cool, appears on Warren's show. Later on, the Ghost Planet crew talk to Gary, who first takes the form of Space Ghost, and gradually shifts to the image of Gary Owens himself. Eventually, Space Ghost destroys both Gary and Warren for replicating him on Warren's show, and for Warren briefly taking over Space Ghost's show. Like Fire Ant, this episode also aired in two forms. The original episode was 30 minutes long, with the main episode playing 3 times, with the last line changed each time.
When you see 'em in Conyers.
A short 12-minute version was aired afterwards, with only the first variant of the original 3 shown.
You're backing up on the
ending
space.
with,
When you see 'em in Poland.
They didn't show the third ending.
Joshua is an episode of Coast to Coast which had a similar style to an infomercial, with the highlight of the episode being a fake infomercial playing for the majority of the episode called Space Ghost 2000, rocketing into the future. This gives an in-universe behind-the-scenes look at the production behind a Space Ghost episode, including writing jokes, recruiting guest stars, and recording dialogue. A parody of training videos focusing on the branding of the show, and spoofs of various commercials. After the infomercial, Space Ghost interviews the 2 winners of the Haikuin for Space Ghost contest, Ryan Rosenberg and Sean Medlock. Both winners read their haikus to Space Ghost, with Medlock's getting a shocked response from the host.
You won for that?
Mm-hmm. Kind of surprising.
Yup. Good night, everybody.
Brilliant Number 1 was an episode of Coast to Coast unique for utilizing a different aspect ratio.
At least that guy was
It's presented in widescreen and black and white as opposed to the standard full screen aspect
played
ratio
along with it.
being in color.
He was a
The
good
episode's
sport.
guests are actor Peter Fonda and astronaut Buzz Aldrin. Throughout the episode, different subtitles appear on the bottom of the screen, changing with each scene. Space Ghost also has eyes and huge buttocks drawn on him in the episode, and is briefly drawn in the style of Dr. Katz. And at one point, Zorak makes a sad face, similar to characters from Japanese anime shows. A second variant of
Japanese
the episode,
anime.
named Brilliant Number 2, would air later on, keeping the same interviews and dialogue, but having different subtitles at the bottom of the screen. Chad Ghostal is the evil twin brother of Space Ghost, whose alter ego is Tad Ghostal. He looks almost identical to Space Ghost, except he has a goatee and mustache on his face. He first appeared on the show in the episode Jerk, where he called his brother and took over the camera, although he wasn't seen. He made his first physical appearance in the episode Switcheroo, where he fills in for Space Ghost as he makes constant errands, showing great attention to his guest, Elvira. While he runs into Space Ghost while he's still on set, the 2 brothers get into a fight until their mother breaks it up and Chad leaves. Chad would return for
Elvira.
a short cameo in the episode Anniversary, where he hijacked Moltar's feed to wish Space Ghost a happy anniversary. In the episode Hipster, Chad takes over hosting duties as Space Ghost is not in the episode, having hip guests on the show, including Sam Butera and The Millionaire, and took over the show until he was found by the police, escaping after singing a short farewell song.
Asking.
For the VHS release of The Mask, special Space Ghost interviews were included after the movie as a bonus feature, with Space Ghost interviewing the film's star Jim Carrey and the film's director Charles Russell, all while self-promoting his show and commenting on the film. These interviews would be reused in the clip show episode Le Livre d'Histoire, alongside a few other Space Ghost interviews. Footage from an unused interview with Cameron Diaz, also originally for The Mask, does appear in the episode Surprise, where it is used among one of the many guest Zorak blasts on the monitor.
so.
For Adult Swim's 2011 April Fool's stunt, the block aired the legendary So Bad It's Good folk film The Room, and included bumpers and segments with new Space Ghost interviews with the film's director and star Tommy Wiseau, talking about the film and various other topics. Wiseau interacted with Space Ghost, Zorak, and Moltar in some bumpers, as well as gave some advice and thoughts to the audience in other bumpers.
And Punch Time Explosion?
The video game, Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion, has an announcer who is heavily implied to be Space Ghost, and is even voiced by Space Ghost's voice actor George Lowe. While the announcer is never referred to by name, there are some nods to Coast, such as him opening the story mode saying, "Greetings, citizens," and the ending, which includes a line where he thinks about getting a lava man to change the channel on his TV with a lever instead of a remote control, the game's final boss, which ends up going awry at the end of the game. A less than subtle reference to Moltar's role in Coast to Coast. From 2012 to 2014, a revival of Cartoon Planet aired on Cartoon Network, with Zorak and Drac hosting the block and doing some skits and songs in between the shows that aired on there. Notably classic Cartoon Network shows such as Johnny Bravo, The Powerpuff Girls, and Dexter's Laboratory. This time, Zorak and Drac hosted without Space Ghost, and Zorak was often spotted playing video games and getting annoyed at Drac for causing him to lose the games. The reasoning behind Cartoon Planet only being Drac and Zorak is because Andy Merrill, the voice of Drac, was basically given the option between George Lowe as Space Ghost and Croker as Zorak, and they just didn't have enough in the budget for both of them, and ultimately he chose Croker, and he didn't regret it because of his untimely death a few years later. You can hear all about this in the Andy Merrill episode of the Adult Swim podcast. I definitely recommend it.
Toonami! I know this one.
When Cartoon Network began its anime and action cartoon programming block Toonami in 1997, Moltar was the block's original host, introducing each show that aired on the block. There were also segments where Moltar would give short speeches related to the shows featured on the block, as well as provide several video game reviews. In 1999, a new Toonami host, Tom, was introduced and had the same duties as Moltar, continuing them throughout the block's run. When C. Martin Croker, Moltar's voice actor, died in 2016, Toonami, now under the Adult Swim umbrella, ran a special tribute bumper, where Moltar communicated to Tom one last time.
Damn.
For April Fool's Day of 2014, a Space Ghost Coast to Coast marathon was held, featuring episodes chosen by the show's cast and crew, and new bumpers of Space Ghost, Zorak, and Moltar recording lines at a recording booth, with audio taken from recording sessions from some of the later Adult Swim episodes, including Eat a Peach and Idlewild South. Before the start of each episode, a small text commentary from one of the show's crew was given explaining why the episode was their favorite. The episodes included in this marathon were Idlewild South, Eat a Peach, Kentucky Nightmare, Flip Mode, Fire Ant, the full long version, Snatch, Chambrain, Warren, again the full 30-minute long cut of the episode, Brilliant Number 2, Boat Show, Dam, Fire Drill, Freak Show, Pile Driver, Hungry, Banjo, and Bobcat. The April Fool's stunt would be uploaded onto Adult Swim's website the following day, where it could be played in its entirety, uninterrupted by commercials.
Blah blah, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. And Zorak says,
"No canoeing, we have a foundation to run."
As part of the Adult Swim Festival event held on YouTube on November 13th and 14th, 2020, a special watch party event for Space Ghost Coast to Coast was held, containing 5 episodes of the show. The episodes shown at the event were Kentucky Nightmare, Fire Ant, the short version this time, Chambrain, Knifing Around, and Sherrick. After the event ended, the watch party video temporarily stayed on YouTube for a few days following the event, before getting deleted from YouTube.
Ooh. I think I made a mistake with the bird Pokemon. With Mary.
Live at the Fillmore is the final episode of Coast to Coast Run on Adult Swim. The plot revolves around Zorak and Moltar bailing Space Ghost out of jail using the show's budget, resulting in the Ghost Planet crew attempting to find ways to make the show without a budget, including reusing old interviews, Zorak and Moltar punching Space Ghost in the crotch, and Space Ghost performing a one-man show called Racism is Down.
St. Louis. 1872. A riverboat makes its way down the river towards... You know, it was on PBS. Ireland. Was it Ireland?
The episode was aired and completed in
Ireland.
unfinished state and was nicknamed by the show's crew as Unfinished POS.
Elementary?
My name is Harriet Lazo. I'm the mother of Michael Lazo.
My name is Sharon Willis. I'm Dave Willis's mom.
I'm Rachel Malero. My son is Matt Malero.
Momentary was a special coast-to-coast episode.
This is
where
a rock
members
type
of the
move
show's
instead of a
producers
electric
gave
type
their
move.
commentary and thoughts on the episode Kentucky Nightmare. And this is where things get a little weird.
Yeah. I'm Matt. I'm Mike. That's Dave over there.
2 more versions of the episode were released with commentary from the producers, Mike Lazo, Matt Malero, and Dave Willis, commenting on their
Static is
mother's
supposed to
commentary,
activate every single
both of
time.
which aired on the same day. So, there was a regular commentary episode named Momentary Creators Commentary, and then there was a commentary episode where the producers ate jelly beans while providing commentary, appropriately named Momentary Jelly Beans.
Yeah. I wonder where they live.
My name is Sharon. I'm
One of these days.
Oh, I guess I can
A Space
also
Ghost
get rid of
was
the.
a Christmas special aired for the show, featuring new segments of the Ghost Planet crew.
I think I'm gonna do
singing
that
Christmas
after
songs, as well as the
paint.
first appearance of the Council of Doom, composed of Brack, Lokar, Kanzit, Metalis, and Black Widow. The new segments were played in between 3 episodes of the show for the special: Bobcat, Batmantis, and Gum Disease. Some of the segments made for the special would be released as bonus features on the Coast to Coast Volume 1 DVD release, most of which were included as Easter eggs, and the 3 episodes included have been released separately in various home media releases as their original episodes, but the full special has not seen a proper home video release. Space Ghost made his one and only appearance on the big screen through a cameo appearance in Aqua Teen Hunger Force: Legion Film for Theaters. In the movie, he gets struck by a missile launched by Meatwad and explodes. Shortly after commenting that he smells a missile approaching, Zorak also makes a brief appearance in the scene, looking at Space Ghost before looking away from him. Also, Space Ghost is watching 12 Hours and Left in the cameo, and I think that's pretty cool. Space Ghost made many cameo appearances in the Adult Swim anime parody show Perfect Hair Forever, usually appearing once an episode in the background. However, there were 3 episodes in which he had a more major role. In the show's first episode, titled Perfect Hair Forever, Space Ghost is seen in the episode's title card, which is styled in the same format as the title cards from the 1960s Space Ghost show. Space Ghost later returns in the episode, where he is chased and mauled by the bear who attacked him in Kentucky Nightmare, who would later become a recurring villain in the show. In the episode Woke Up Drunk, Space Ghost comes into a meeting of boardmen drunk, asking them for work. The boardmen all laugh at him, resulting in Space Ghost leaving and drunkenly calling his mother on the phone. Shortly after, the bear returns, shooting Space Ghost on sight. In the show's final episode, Muscular Distraction, and in both variants of the episode, a scene cuts away to the Ghost Planet studio, where Space Ghost tells Zorak that he is disappointed that he keeps pitching the network shows for years, but they choose to air Perfect Hair Forever instead. This is also notable for being one of the last times C. Martin Croker voiced Zorak until his death in 2016.
Space Ghost and Aaron Insurance.
In a special Esurance commercial, Space Ghost has Erin Esurance as a guest, as she talks about the benefits of using Esurance for car insurance. Space Ghost doesn't pay attention to this and instead, in a very prophetic way, thinks about how hot Aaron is to himself, until Aaron yells at him and asks if he's paying attention. This commercial is notable for predicting the fanbase Erin Esurance would get, with many commenting how hot she was in a similar manner. So much so that Esurance retired Aaron when the fans' work went off the rails.
Sonny Sherrick.
Sonny Sherrick was the composer for the original music of Coast to Coast, including the show's theme song, named Hit Single on a music CD album for the show. He produced the music for the show in 1993, 1 year before the show aired in 1994. Coast to Coast would be the last project he worked on before his death on May 25th, 1994, and the episode Sherrick is dedicated to him, with several of his music played in the episode uninterrupted as a tribute. A soundtrack album for Space Ghost Coast to Coast was produced by the show's composer Sonny Sherrick in 1993. The songs were produced and composed before the show aired, and released in 1994 after Sherrick's death later that year. It features the show's theme song, as well as several improvised jazz compositions, including Out to Launch and Ghost Planet National Anthem, and even a remix of the theme song named Cinnamon Ghost. A second version of the album was released in 1996, including a bonus track which was a remix version of Ghost Planet National Anthem. The episode Sherrick contains several of these tracks in their entirety and uninterrupted in memory of Sherrick. Between 1996 and 1998, 3 CD music albums containing songs and skits from Cartoon Planet were released by Cartoon Network and Rhino Records. The first one was Modern Music for Swinging Superheroes, released in 1996, which contained several bonus karaoke tracks so listeners could sing along to the songs. The second album, Space Ghost Musical Barbecue, was released in 1997 and was the first of the Cartoon Planet albums to become commercially available, containing all the content from the previous album, as well as several more songs and skits from Cartoon Planet. The third album, Space Ghost Surf and Turf, was released in 1998 as the second Cartoon Planet album to be commercially available, containing 36 songs and skits from the show. The album was notably promoted by Space Ghost during his guest appearance on Donnie and Mary in 1998.
Yogi Berra Satan?
In the episode Sweet for Brack, Space Ghost ends up meeting Satan near the end of the episode, who turns out to be Yogi Bear with a crown of bones on his head. In one of the most notable Hanna-Barbera character guest appearances on the show, Satan agrees to have Space Ghost star in a sitcom, but this sitcom ends up being Zorak's show, Blood Dumpster, much to Space Ghost's disappointment and confusion. Yogi has a deep, sinister voice here, unlike his other shows, where his voice sounds significantly friendlier in contrast. From 2006 to 2008, 17 new episodes of Coast to Coast were produced for Turner's GameTap online service, which primarily hosted video games and related content, but also hosted several shows on the service. In these episodes, Space Ghost would primarily introduce video game developers and other figures in the gaming industry, such as then world record holder of Pac-Man, Billy Mitchell.
Fortunately, I don't demand that perfection out of people around me. I probably would
Billy Mitchell?
around me, which is good.
Oops! The show's original voice cast returned for these episodes, but none of the other crew or team behind the original era worked on the GameTap era. The GameTap episodes were much shorter in length, lasting from 2 to 6 minutes in contrast to the average CN Adult Swim episodes of 10 to 15 minutes. Some new animation was made for the episodes, and a new character, a pixelated fly named Yar, was added to the show's cast as Zorak's former rival, but most of the animation was reused from the original show. Currently, only 14 of the episodes have been found and archived online, with the remaining 3 episodes lost media forever, as they were not saved after the closure of GameTap in 2015.
Make sure you stretch out those creamy hamstrings.
Leave It to Brack was the second pilot for the Brack
What's up, Pumpkin? How's it going? Thank you for the stretch reminder.
The episode sees Brack and Zorak steal their school mascot, a chicken, causing trouble along the way. This pilot was essentially the same as the show's first episode, Mr. Bok-Bagok, with minor differences, such as the backgrounds having a more cartoony look instead of the realistic suburb photo implementation setting found in the final episode. A clip of the pilot, along with a clip from the Coast to Coast episode Kentucky Nightmare,
Thank you for the hydrate reminder as well.
The C-Lab 2021 episode Predator,
Gonna
and
go get some water.
shows Captain Murphy watches from his monitor.
Get on, Violet. Have you done the raid yet?
Adult Swim collaborated with Vitamin Water to produce a new Coast to Coast interview with basketball star Steve Nash, as well as several other commercials where Space Ghost and Steve Nash advertised Vitamin Water. The interview and commercials were featured on a special website made by Adult Swim and Vitamin Water, alongside a timeline which connects Space Ghost with Steve Nash, and a quiz game for users to determine which Space Ghost character they connect with, that being either Space Ghost, Zorak, Moltar, or Brack.
I don't even know if I have enough stuff. Gilterra.
The messages from outer space and vacation spots.
Well, Shinobi's still here. We can help you out.
Japanese tokusatsu show Ultra 7, Turner, which on Cartoon Network, produced an English dub for Ultra 7 in 1985, and that English dub version would air after the Monster Vision block on TNT, another channel owned by Turner. A small clip from an episode of Ultra 7 was used in the Coast to Coast episode $20.01, which, just to go off script for a second. That's one of my favorite episodes of the show. You can't go wrong with that one. It's great. As footage from Space Ghost is guest Joel Hodgson, creator and star of Mystery Science Theater 3000, to mock. Additionally, the last segment of Cartoon Planet's last episode is a skit where Space Ghost gives a speech about Ultra 7 and how great the show was and is disappointed in its cancellation, as well as Cartoon Planet's cancellation.
So they gave Ultra 7 his own TV show. And it was a good TV show. But the ratings were not so good.
Since Turner's contract to use Ultra 7 expired in 2001, it's a contributing factor to why Cartoon Planet has not seen a proper home video release, as there will be hefty licensing fees for the Ultra 7 footage and some of the cartoon footage used in the show, such as footage from Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry shorts.
Wait, don't they...
Space Ghost makes a prominent appearance in Cartoon Network's Parking Lot bumper, where
Are they
he offers
basically
Fred
on Looney Tunes
Flintstone,
and Tom and
among
Jerry
his
now?
two passengers, Thundar the Barbarian and Chicken from Cow and Chicken, his parking space when he notices that they're looking for one. Fred calls him a true hero, then Space Ghost remembers that he flew to work after trying to figure out where he parked, then flies away first. Fred and the passengers don't find a parking space, but they do get to laugh at a confrontation between Speed Racer and Judy Jetson at the end of the bumper.
Space Ghost and Batman team up?
Space Ghost teams up with Batman, the Dark Knight himself, in the Batman the Brave and the Bold episode, Bold Beginnings, where he was voiced by Gary Owens, who voiced the original Space Ghost in the 1960s cartoon. In the episode, Space Ghost teams up with Batman, voiced by Diedrich Bader, to save his sidekicks Jan and Chase from the Creature team, and both heroes defeat the villains and save Jan and Chase. I know that's not technically Coast to Coast, but I love Brave and the Bold, and they had an official crossover with Space Ghost, so you know what? I'm just gonna count it.
Oh, I didn't even know they had that. That's dope.
The comic book Scooby-Doo team-up number 20, entitled Space Case, featured Mystery Inc. teaming up with Space Ghost to stop Zorak and Moltar from conquering Earth. Here, the Ghost Planet crew is characterized like their 1960s cartoon counterparts, although a little nod is given to Coast to Coast near the end of the comic. The comic itself was dedicated to both C. Martin Croker, the voice actor of Zorak and Moltar in Coast to Coast, and Don Messick, the original voice actor of Scooby-Doo, as well as the voice of Zorak and Moltar in the 1960s show. In an AT&T commercial that aired on Adult Swim, Space
Lighting
Ghost
feels
briefly
so
introduced Carrot
lame now.
Top, which turns out to be
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some water. I forgot I was supposed to switch the clock for that one. This is scraps. Oh well. Still get everything handy.
the top of a carrot. Incidentally enough, Carrot Top was on the show in the episode Lovesick, and AT&T eventually merged with Time Warner, the owner of all Adult Swim and Cartoon Network content. Side note, but it's a little creepy how they're advertising the company that would one day own them.
Sonic and Knuckles.
In a brief scene from the episode Gum Disease, Space Ghost plays Sonic and Knuckles on his monitor before switching back to interviewing his first guest for the episode, Branford Marsalis. During this scene, Zorak can be seen rocking out to the Sonic and Knuckles title screen theme while Space Ghost plays the game. Sega, the company behind the game, and the Sega Genesis, the console the game was made for, sponsored Coast to Coast in its early years, with a bumper for the show stating that it's sponsored by Sega being found on YouTube. Some later airings of the episode removed the moment with Sonic and Knuckles, but HBO Max has the moment intact. And that means I can technically put Sonic in the thumbnail and get more views. That's the American way, baby. I briefly mentioned this earlier, but Mystery Science Theater 3000 creator and star Joel Hodgson is credited for helping to write the script for the Coast to Coast episode Urges, where Zorak encounters mating
Alright, Pumpkin, let me know when you're ready.
On the show
So I can
itself in the
switch
episode
over.
$20.01, where Space Ghost asked him about questions related to MST3K, and unsuccessfully tried getting Hodgson to make fun of a clip from Ultra 7 with him. This would be changed to different stock footage for the DVD release. Man, they really love Ultra 7. Additionally, Hodgson helped create an ultimately unused intro for the show, which had a style similar to a roller coaster simulator. Coast to Coast has been dubbed in several foreign languages.
So how the baby one outbreaks on Violet. Nice.
Just bear with me on this. I apologize if I don't pronounce this correctly. Fantasma del Espacio de Costa a Costa. Again, I did French, not Spanish in high school. Cartoon Network's Spain's dub of the show changed the dialogue and even some of the guests for some episodes, which were substituted for guests that would be recognizable to Spanish audiences. Notably, in the Spanish dub of $20.01, the original guests, Joel Hodgson and Penn and Teller, are replaced with new guests. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering this, as Creator and Traitrice Ninja, with the latter group of musicians filling in Hodgson's role in the original episode. Interestingly, the Spanish dub of the show was given a higher TV rating classification than the original show. While the average Coast to Coast episode was usually rated TV-PG, some early episodes were rated TVG and TVY7, and the Adult Swim episode Dreams was rated TV-14, the Spanish dub was rated TV-14, and even sometimes TVMA, as the Spanish dub was geared towards a more mature audience. Additionally, several news segments were made exclusively for Cartoon Network's Latin American show that were only in Spanish, including a segment named, third time I'm going to apologize for this, Biografia Tune, El Fantasma del Espacio, which gave a fictitious biography on Space Ghost and his transition from superhero to talk show host. However, all Spanish-speaking regions aired Coast to Coast in its original English with Spanish subtitles translated, in addition to the full Spanish dub of the series, in order to satisfy people who preferred the original version over the Spanish dubbed version, and vice versa, which is actually pretty consumer-friendly, all things considered. Coast to Coast has also been notably translated into Portuguese, where it is called, again, gonna apologize in advance, Space Ghost Costa a Costa. Unlike the Spanish dub, the Portuguese dub sticks more closely to the scripts of the English original.
Get it.
When Coast to Coast was released onto DVD, several episodes had to be edited or altered due to licensing issues with some of the content originally on them, or failing to obtain the rights to include the content on it. Some notable changes include the following. In Hipster, Sam Butera singing I'm a Gigolo was dubbed over with a noticeably different singer and song.
I'm just a gigolo, everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing.
In Glenn Campbell, the audio of the Simpsons episode Space Ghost is watching is muted, as is a line from Mr. Burns at the end of the credits. A line about Space Ghost asking which one of the Simpsons is Homer is also cut out.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Good day, Smithers Release Valves.
Which one's Homer again? The baby? Where's Moltar?
In $20.01, the footage from Ultra 7 that was originally used from Space Ghost and Joel Hodgson to mock was replaced with different stock footage. As I mentioned before, Turner had lost the rights to use and air Ultra 7. In Sham Brain, George Lowe, which was Space Ghost's voice actor, replaces Al Roker in the beginning of the episode and is referred to as Al. In Switcheroo 2, the opening crawl parodying Star Wars is removed from the DVD version. All of the cartoon shorts, including the full Powerpuff Girls short, included on President's Day Nightmare, were removed when the episode was released onto DVD. William, the King of Imagination's appearance in Joshua was removed in the DVD release.
They actually have increased shiny odds?
Saying that the
That's a good question.
Explode is removed on the DVD release.
I have not paid attention to any of the increased outbreak events they do.
Previously unused opening sequence featuring Space Ghost eating a and meeting with the Colonial Man from Snatch, played by Dave Willis, to find a compromise to pay his bill. An Adult Swim New Year's bumper from 2003 confirmed that there were canonically two different Zoraks, those being the one from Coast to Coast and the one from the Brax show, which are apparently separate entities. Briefly after Brax's dad talks to the Coast Zorak, the two Zoraks meet. Then the Coast Zorak exclaims that there can be only one before getting crushed to death by Thundercleaves. In a later bumper, Space Ghost hires the Brax Show Zorak to fill in the role of his evil Mantis sidekick as a result of the Coast Zorak's untimely demise. And to replace Brax Zorak, well, they were canceled. This was the last thing that aired for Brack, so...
They canceled the Brack show. And since it's not April 1st, I guess it's not a joke. I'm pretty depressed about it, folks.
Yep.
This is Water Terra.
Bye-bye, Brack.
R.I.P. Brack.
In 1993, Andy Warhol made a test pilot for Space Ghost, which combined footage from old Space Ghost cartoon episodes with archival footage of Denzel Washington from past interviews, as well as the film Malcolm X, which was released that year. Edited to make it look like Space Ghost was interviewing Denzel Washington.
So, Dustin, it's been a while. I gotta say, you look great. Are you trying to seduce me, Mr. Tucker? I am not trying to seduce you, Dustin Hoffman. You really look great.
In this pilot, Andy Merrill provided the voice of Space Ghost, who asked Denzel about his hunting career, among other things.
You got that big Oscar show coming up. Have you planned anything to say? Have you planned your speech for the big Oscar Best Actor Oscar?
An edited version of this pilot, nicknamed Andy's Pilot, was released in 2004 as a bonus feature for the Coast to Coast Volume 2 DVD. Although all the footage and mentions of Denzel Washington were either removed or blanked out, as the licensing fees to keep the footage for the release would have cost a hefty $25,000. Footage with Denzel is replaced in the DVD version with text transcripts of his dialogue, with his name noticeably blurred out in all instances. This edited version is the only found version of the pilot to exist, and it's unlikely that the unedited version will see a release anytime soon. However, a full transcript of the pilot, as well as some images and audio clips from it, can be viewed on the fan-made website Brack's Scrapbook. Dinner with Steven was an unused and unfinished episode where Space Ghost interviewed Stephen Wright from a restaurant. The episode was a parody of the film My Dinner with Andre, sharing a similar premise to that movie. However, Stephen Wright's interview would be used for the episode Snatch, an episode which parodied the classic horror B-movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Dinner with Steven will be released on the 1998 episode's DVD release as a bonus feature, referred to as a bonus value episode on the DVD. Back during the early days of Let's Swim Stage, there was a marathon of Space
Magikarp Maroon level event outbreak.
There's nothing too special about these episodes that they aired.
I wouldn't have mind getting a shiny Magikarp.
Even the more widely spread episodes that we know today were rarely found online in good quality. However, something interesting to take note of is that during the commercials between episodes, they would have these little intermission pieces that they would play, ranging from some behind-the-scenes looks at the props they used to make the Coast to Coast set, to a quality segment where you could speak to Zorak himself live.
So what brings you here? You watch TV and stuff?
Yeah, I love TV.
What's on your TV usually?
Sometimes it's cartoons.
Cartoons? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, we're done here.
There were a total of 6 of these marathon streams, which have luckily all been properly archived.
Cartoons!
For the Copatoon event hosted by Cartoon Network's Latin American stations in 2001, Several new Space Ghost interviews were made with several famous soccer players, notably Hugo Sanchez and Ronaldinho. While these episodes originally aired in Spanish, they were dubbed into English by the original voice cast of Coast to Coast, although the guest dialogue remained in Spanish with English subtitles translating. Aside from Zorak and Moltar, Space Ghost was accompanied by a few guest co-hosts for these segments. Eustace Bag from Courage the Cowardly Dog helped interview Ronaldinho, and the Powerpuff Girls' nemesis Mojo Jojo helped interview Hugo Sanchez. While the Hugo Sanchez interview segment was all original, the Ronaldinho segment borrowed its plot and dialogue heavily from the Coast to Coast episode Urges, with some lines and scenes being done almost exclusively as they were in that episode.
3 interviews?
To promote Turner's online gaming service GameTap, several Space Ghost interviews were conducted at E3 2006, with Space Ghost interviewing key figures of the gaming industry of the time, including Peter Molyneux, developer of Fable, Peter Moore, who oversaw Microsoft's gaming division at the time, and most notably, Todd Howard, developer of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. After the initial event ended, official recordings of the interviews will be put on the GameTap website, alongside new episodes of Coast to Coast, until the website's closure in 2015. All 6 of these interviews have been found and preserved on websites such as YouTube and
There's the guy from Harmonix.
Yeah, whatever. Was a spoken word CD featuring Space Ghost, voiced by George Lowe, giving comedic and nonsensical daily affirmations, which was intended to be aired over radio stations.
I regret to inform you that today has been canceled. Stop here and go to tomorrow.
As such, the CD was not released commercially, and is rare to find on websites such as eBay in terms of obtaining a physical copy. However, the entire album was uploaded to YouTube and the Internet Archive by user Uncle Sporkums for preservation. For the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie, George Lowe dressed up as Space Ghost and recorded it on the red carpet event for the film, interviewing its cast and crew in the character. This event footage will be included as a bonus feature for the film's DVD release.
You know, I just want to say right now, at this point in the program, ladies and gentlemen, you could boil a hand in my pants. and if you give me another 30 minutes, I'll honey
The Robot
it
Chicken.
for you.
Brack presents the Brack Show starring Brack.
Brack Presents the Brack Show starring Brack was a TV special that aired in 2000 on Cartoon Network as a pilot for what would become the Brack Show. Brack hosts a musical variety show alongside Zorak, who attempts to sabotage it, Wally Gator, who announces each act, and several celebrity guests, including Freddie Prinze Jr., Diamond Dallas Page, Monica, and the Chieftains. The songs from the special would later be released as an album in 2000 named Brack Presents the Brack Album starring Brack. At least they were consistent.
I like it.
Space Ghost, Zorak, and Moltar all made cameo appearances in Adult Swim's show Off the Air, which shows various music videos and shorts from around the internet by a wide variety of artists. One member of the Ghost Planet crew makes a cameo in the background of one of the segments for almost every episode, with all 3 characters making a cameo appearance at the end of the episode Nightmares, with the Ghost Planet crew showing up in the ending montage. In the episode Space, Space Ghost is given a very brief voice line during his cameo, once again provided by George Lowe. This is a quote that originated from the Coast to Coast episode In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. The only episode of Off the Air where none of the Ghost Planet crew appear is in Hair. Instead, Gerald, the main character from Perfect Hair Forever, makes a cameo in that episode, fittingly enough. Adult Swim Brain Trust, also known as Anime Talk Show, was an Adult Swim television special that aired right after the premiere of Perfect Hair Forever and served as an unofficial pilot for another Adult Swim show, Squidbillies. It is considered by some as the last official episode of Coast to Coast, due to it being the last Adult Swim produced episode where Space Ghost interviews his guests. In this case, a panel consisting of Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Sharko from C-Lab 2021, and Early Kyler from Squidbillies. However, his attempt at holding a discussion panel based on Perfect Hair Forever
Go on my
immediately goes
child
off the
Magby.
rail, with his panelists talking about unrelated things and Space Ghost getting both his hand shot off by Early and eventually shot and eaten by Sharko, before being reduced to a talking head on top of Meatwad, which is also shot off by Early. Zorak and Brack's dad make brief visual cameos in the special, and the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past from the Future from Aqua Teen Hunger Force
But one shiny.
one of Space Ghost's only callers.
Is that one of the Pokemon you're trying to hatch?
You on TV right now? Turn it on.
I am. Hold on.
That is, I am on the television. Hello, Mother, I'm on TV. I hope that you can see me because thousands of years ago.
ST.
An advertisement for Nestea Cool Iced Tea that aired on Adult Swim saw Space Ghost interacting with the evil snowman mascot for the drink. First introducing him, then blasting him after his interview doesn't go anywhere. The snowman quickly revives himself using Nestea Cool Iced Tea, resulting in Space Ghost saying,
Stupid power bands.
Several other Nestea Cool commercials were aired with Brad inviting the snowman to his family's house, where it drank some Nestea
Those are
Cool
the
Iced
baby
Tea.
outbreak events? Oh. You're gonna be doing that then? Instead of the raid?
An advertisement for Space Ghost fast food that aired on Adult Swim has Space Ghost interviewing a person and trying and failing to get it into his mouth. In this specific commercial, Space Ghost looks like he's animated using flash animation instead of the traditional reuse animation that the show used.
Donnie and Marie.
This next guest is the ultimate superhero.
That's right.
This guy hosts a little talk show, and even when he's upset, he's animated. It was a joke. It was a joke. Okay. He's the star of
I'll try
Space
not to
Ghost
literally
Coast to
hit
Coast.
connect to
It's on
internet.
Cartoon Network, the one, the only, Space Ghost! Well, oh, there he is. There he is. Hello,
Greetings, husbands and television viewers of Earth.
In 1998, Space Ghost made a guest appearance on Donnie and Marie, hosted by Donnie and Marie Osmond. The host asked him questions such as what his superpowers were like and who his favorite interview was. It wasn't Donnie, who had appeared on the Coast to Coast episode Fire Drill. Space Ghost also promotes the album Space Ghost Surf and Turf,
Which is available on Rhino Records at Rhino Records music stores everywhere.
we heard it. Okay.
and sings a song from the album with Donnie and Marie, something that rhymes with bones.
My cousin Benny's got a trailer park in Rome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Going home.
If you eat some uncooked corn, you'll sit around and moan.
Eat
Do something that rhymes with bones. Yeah!
Space Ghost, everyone!
I have a bad habit of accidentally hitting the connect to internet button. It happens. I've done that too when I in the early days.
Was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon series which aired from 81 to 82 and featured 22 new Space Ghost episodes, with 2 Space Ghost segments being shown per episode. Gary Owens returned as the voice of Space Ghost for the show, and Space Ghost was once again aided by his sidekicks Jan, Chase, and Blip. Much like the old show, they battled intergalactic villains, but none of the original villains returned, exclusively showing new villains, including Space Ghost's other evil counterpart, Space Spectre, voiced by John Stevenson. Other segments of the program included the Herculoids, new episodes of another classic Hanna-Barbera superhero show, Astro and the Space Mutts, starring the Jetsons' dog Astro, and Teen Force, a new group of teen superheroes, and a finale segment where Space Ghost joined forces with the heroes from the other segments to stop various villains. The Space Ghost segments, as well as all the other segments except the Teen Force segments, have all been subsequently shown on Cartoon Network and Boomerang as time filler between other shows. But the show has never been rebroadcasted in its full length since its original airing. It would eventually see a home video release in 2013, with the whole unedited series included on DVD as part of the Hanna-Barbera Classics collection, alongside the 1960s Space Ghost cartoon. When the Powerpuff Girls movie hit theaters in 2002, Cartoon Network and Adult Swim heavily promoted it, since it was the first time a Cartoon Network show hit the big screen. Promos featuring Space Ghost and Brak encouraging viewers to go watch the film were aired on Adult Swim. Space Ghost encourages viewers to see the movie despite not seeing it yet, while Brak was shown to be a dedicated fan of the Powerpuff Girls, keeping dolls of them in his room, and also having 3 tickets, one for him and his 2 parents, to see the film. One other promotion of the Powerpuff Girls movie was made in the Brak Show episode Braklet, Prince of Spaceland, with the final dialogue of the episode.
So what do you want to do now, Zorak?
Watch the Powerpuff Girls movie on DVD.
Although the Brak Show was canceled on Adult Swim in 2003, it got a bonus website-exclusive episode in 2007 named Space Adventure. It features Brak and his dad taking a trip to the moon for a rocket, while Zorak spends some time with Brak's mother.
What is going on?
excerpt of the Coast to Coast episode Jacksonville was featured on a 1996 episode of Talk Soup, specifically the scene where Metallica plays a song for Zorak, who they say is their favorite part of the Space Ghost show, with host John Henson remarking at the end,
Wow. I thought our show was weird.
1 year later, John Henson would be a guest on Coast to Coast in the episode Suck Up, where Space Ghost tries to impress Henson with his show. It doesn't go well.
My tongue ever get sore?
You know,
What kind of question is that? What kind of a person do you think I am? Does my tongue get sore?
Did I say something wrong?
Yeah.
Backpedal. Rephrase question. Hey, John, want to see my tongue?
No.
Henson made one more guest appearance on Coast to Coast, this time hosting an end segment with a similar format to Talk Soup, introducing the clip of the week, which turns out to be Zorak on Jerry Springer, right before Space Ghost arrives to give his evil Mantis bandleader a beating.
Well, it keeps TFO. Rip.
Stay With was a series of Cartoon Network bumpers parodying Survivor, with various Cartoon Network
Or Ella Kid.
characters as its contestants. Drac was one of the contestants, and made it all the way through the final round.
I always
where he
liked
won
Ella
the
Kid's
competition,
design,
though
actually.
it turned out to all be one of Drac's dreams. While Drac tells Space Ghost and Zorak are dreaming in the last number of the series, Space Ghost makes two notes to himself while listening, pitch a reality show, and form a network alliance against Drac.
There are some people who just didn't get it.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Paul Westerberg was one.
Why do we always hurt the ones we love?
The Coast to Coast crew were all fans of musician Paul Westerberg and his band, The Replacements, so they wanted to do an interview for the show. Unfortunately, Westerberg's interview went so poorly that he walked out after the first 5 minutes of the interview in frustration, and most of the Coast to Coast team cited that interview particularly as one of the worst, as it was unusable. George Lowe recalled in an interview that Westerberg was extremely angry that the interview was for a cartoon, which one of his handlers didn't tell him prior to the interview itself. A VH1 documentary about Adult Swim called VH1 Goes Inside Adult Swim had Dave Willis bring up the experience with Westerberg, saying that he didn't like the strange questions he was being asked.
I think his words were, you asked.
That's enough to get you on this show.
I hear at his concert that night he did a little song called Space Ghost. So, aces.
Thank you, stupid idiot.
Kind of a badge of honor there, I think.
You probably think that's
I don't know, that doesn't
An episode was interviewed with Seth Green, creator of Robot Chicken and voice actor on Family Guy, was planned for the show's 2003 season, but was scrapped for unknown
And I'm going to be able to do my luck sandwich and counter power. Hopefully it works out for you.
Where Dr. Weird steals Space Ghost's monitor and is shown to have already killed Space Ghost, putting on his head while shouting,
"There can be only one."
To which Seth Green on the monitor comments,
Nice.
An episode interviewing Seth MacFarlane, creator and voice actor on Family Guy, American Dad, and The Cleveland Show, was planned for Coast to Coast 2003 season as well, but was scrapped alongside the Seth Green interview for unknown reasons. Unlike the Seth Green interview, the interview footage for MacFarlane's interview was never used. A computer-animated intro sequence for the show was created for the episode Late Show, which emulated the style of The Late Show with David Letterman. It was only intended to be used for that episode, but it ended up getting used for almost all subsequent episodes through Joshua, due to using up the show's budget by a considerable amount. After its last usage in Joshua, the CGI intro has some of its shots reused in episodes such as Curly Flower Special, Fire Ant, and Baffler Meal, and an abridged version of this intro would be used for the episodes that aired on Dreamcast.
Like that. Hey, how encounter power, luck sandwich, not sparkling power.
I suppose you're wondering what happened to Space Ghost and his fabled gang.
At least sandwiches work for you.
I don't know. But you can find out by checking eBay.com, as they have a one-of-a-kind ending that you can purchase, starting at
I remember I spent like 3 hours searching for Dratini. Just like 3-4 hours worth of sandwiches.
The script for the
And
episode
nothing.
Snatch was originally auctioned off on eBay. with the
Alright,
episode's
I can
original
never make
ending
Sparkling
featuring a
Power because I
colonial
never
era
have
man,
Herba.
played by the
Oh,
show's
that too.
co-producer Dave Willis,
The Herba.
encouraging viewers to go on eBay and bid on the script to find out what the next episode's true ending is, with all proceeds going to charity. The ending would be cut from future television airings, simply replaced with a "The End" text instead, but it would be included on the DVD and HBO Max releases of the show. A screenshot from eBay at the time reveals that a user named Vroly22 made the highest bid for the script before the ending date, but it is said that the script was sold to an unknown user who bidded over $1,000 for it. It is unknown what the fate of the script was once it was won, and what was written inside of that script. Blast Zorak was an old Flash game from Cartoon Network's website that allowed players to be in Space Ghost shoes and blast Zorak as many times as possible, with higher blast counts equaling a higher score. Drax Dean Chomper 2000 was another old Flash game on Cartoon Network's website, this time having players as Drac, who eats beans while being chased down by 4 space ghosts. The gameplay of this game is identical to that of Pac-Man, down to the style of the mazes and characters of the game. Drac, Head Kicker 2 The Final Kick is a Flash game based on the Drax show released on Adult Swim's website. Players play as Zorak and fight other characters in the show, while Drac cheers the player on, with the ending revealing that Zorak helped save Drax's mother. Head Kicker 1 is included as a bonus, which is a game where players, as Zorak, kick Drac in the head as many times as possible, with the bonus game presented in the style of an Atari 2600 game. The Planetarium Tour was a special produced by Cartoon Network featuring episodes of Space Ghost Coast to Coast and music videos, alongside new segments of Space Ghost, Zorak, and Moltar introducing each segment, as well as an interview with guest Rustin Moore, who would later be a guest on the show in the episode Sherrick. The special included the Coast to Coast episodes $20.01, Transcript, and Explode, plus 2 episodes from the 1960s Space Ghost cartoon, Zorak, and The Molten Monsters of Moltar. Also featured were several music videos including Vow by Garbage, Diamond Sea by Sonic Youth, Tickling by Loud Lucy, and Camel Walk by Southern Culture on the Skids, plus a Cartoon Planet music video, Don't Touch Me. The new segments created for the special were found and uploaded to YouTube by user Captain BZ, and have since been uploaded to the Internet Archive for preservation.
Count Floyd.
Count Floyd is a fictitious horror movie host played by comedian Joe Flaherty, who originally appeared on the Canadian sketch show SCTV as the host of SCTV's Monster Chiller Horror Theater, a parody of similar low-budget, public-access TV shows that showed low-budget horror movies. Floyd's mannerisms and voice were based off of Bela Lugosi's Count Dracula, although he would start each show by howling like a werewolf, which quickly diminished into a weak chuckle. Floyd was a parody of over-the-top hosts that were seen on this genre of local television shows, though Floyd was an accurate portrayal of how the majority of real-life hosts of these shows were like. New Count Floyd skits were made for Hanna-Barbera's cartoon show The Completely Mental Misadventures of Ed Grimley, in which Floyd hosted Count Floyd's Scary Stories, the only live-action segment of the show, where Floyd attempts to entertain an audience of children, parodying Bozo the Clown and similar old-time children's show hosts, rather than the horror hosts that he was used to mocking.
Bozo the Clown.
These same Count Floyd segments would be used on Cartoon Planet, with an introduction from Space Ghost announcing that he's received a transmission from Count Floyd before the segment, and saying that he's lost contact with Floyd after the segment ends.
That's it. I've lost the signal. Don't fret, kiddies. Count Floyd will be back next week.
The Quest is a 1995 PC game released by AOL, where players play as 3 cartoon characters on a quest to solve 20 riddles hidden throughout the content of the game. Several TV channels sponsored and had their content included in the game, including Discovery Channel, Kids WB, which included Animaniacs content in the game, and Cartoon Network. CN included several minigames based on Coast to Coast in the game, which included taking a look around Moltar's control room, listening to Zorak and the original Layouts play several songs,
I don't want to
and
try
asking
something.
Space Ghost several questions, such as, what are your superpowers, and what do you eat? The game itself was elusive lost media for years, until it was found in 2019 by a Twitter user named AlexMCG.
How Zorak stole X.
How Zorak Stole Xmas was an old Flash game hosted on Cartoon Network's website, where players play as Space Ghost and chase Zorak, dressed as Santa, in order to save the Christmas spirit, blasting all falling hazards and avoiding obstacles along the way. This game features voice lines from George Lowe and C. Martin Croker, unlike the other two Space Ghost Flash games. To help promote Turner Home Entertainment's VHS releases of Jonny Quest, a special Space Ghost Coast to Coast interview was made for that purpose, with Space Ghost interviewing Jonny Quest and showing clips from the cartoons that would be featured on the tapes it was promoting, plus some commercials advertising these tapes. This was primarily shown on Jonny Quest VHS tapes, though other cartoons released on VHS by Turner also had this promotional interview featured.
Cable Ace Award.
Space Ghost and Zorak present the animation segment of the 1995 Cable Ace Awards, showing off clips from classic cartoons from Hanna-Barbera and MGM, more modern cartoons from Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, and adult-oriented animations such as Dr. Katz. It also included a segment where Space Ghost interviews Beavis and Butthead, which doesn't go as planned due to the guest not listening to him, and another segment where Space Ghost listens to Duckman's speech about being challenged and thinking like reasoning adults, gaining confusion from both Space Ghost and Zorak.
Oh, you know what?
Did you understand any of that?
No. At the end of the last montage featuring adult-oriented animation, Space Ghost asked Zorak,
who makes cartoons like that? Where are all the happy cats and dogs beating each other to a pulp?
Resulting in Zorak shooting him with his laser gun, followed by Space Ghost blasting Zorak
Will
with
probably
his
help
power
if I
bands,
put all the
ending
Pokemon I
segment.
want to transfer into the box.
While the first 3 volumes of the DVD releases of Coast to Coast were released commercially, in addition to being sold on Adult Swim's website, the last 2 DVD releases of the show, the 1998 episodes and From the Kentucky Nightmare DVD, were both exclusive to Adult Swim's website, and as a result, fetched for much higher prices on online websites such as eBay due to their rarity. Additionally, Adult Swim hosted a build-your-own DVD feature on its website, which included almost every episode of Coast to Coast, including the episodes left off of the official DVD releases, the final episodes of the show, which never had a DVD release, and unaltered versions of episodes that got altered for the DVD releases. This would become available to own, but only in DVD-ROM form. However, the Make Your Own DVD feature shut down in 2021 for unknown reasons. The Haiku for Space Ghost contest was a competition held by Cartoon Network for its viewers to submit a haiku they wrote and win various prizes, with the grand prize being to get featured on an episode of Coast to Coast. The 2 winners of the contest, Ryan Rosenberg and Sean Medlock, were featured in the episode Joshua, where they read their haikus to Space Ghost at the end of the episode. Medlock's haiku got a surprise response from Space Ghost.
I hope I don't win. The rules say to bring a friend. I don't have any.
You won for that?
That's actually kind of great.
A special Coast to Coast interview aired through a promo on Adult Swim, featuring Space Ghost interviewing actress Zoe Saldana about the film Avatar, which would become one of the biggest box office successes in history. Maybe that promotion from Space Ghost paid off. For a special event on Adult Swim that had episodes of Coast to Coast and Tom Goes to the Mayor, Space Ghost interviewed Tom and the Mayor from Tom Goes to the Mayor in a very brief promo for the event. In a 2012 promo that aired on Adult Swim, Space Ghost interviewed Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis about their film, The Campaign, as well as try to grow a beard in less than 60 seconds, which Space Ghost succeeds at. NASA named 4 rocks on the planet Mars after the Space Ghost crew: Space Ghost, Zorak, Moltar, and Drac. I know that one's a short one to end off this layer, I think that one's the coolest one of the layer, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
In perhaps one of the most interesting guest appearances ever, Space Ghost, portrayed by George Lowe in full costume, was interviewed by reporter Bruce Collins for a 1995 C-SPAN news report about the National Cable Television Association convention. Here, he answers questions such as how he compares with other superheroes and what his superpowers are, all done in character.
How do you compare yourself to your colleagues in the business, such as, for example, Superman or Batman?
Well, you know, Superman got that groin pull a couple of years ago. Very, very difficult, very painful. Spider-Man, you just don't want to shake hands with him because every time you
Ooh, did you find your shiny?
A warm greeting, you get that handful of that glop, you know, that he sticks to things with. So that's unpleasant. He's an unpleasant person.
A second pilot was produced for Coast to Coast, this time with Gary Owens, which was Space Ghost's original voice actor in the 1960s show, reprising his role as Space Ghost and actor Emma Thompson as his guest, alongside Chris Gore in a cameo appearance. This pilot was presented in the style of a Coming Attractions movie trailer, and even had a small segment where Space Ghost answered fan letters, something that would be featured prominently in the spin-off show Cartoon Planet. Unlike Andy's pilot, this pilot has never been released in any way, and no video footage of it has been found. However, images and audio files from the pilot, as well as a full transcript of it, can be found on the fan-made website Vrack's Scrapbook.
Dear Space Ghost, the other kids in school don't understand me, and the really big kids beat me up all the time. Will you come destroy them? Your friend, Billy Shannon, Newark, Ohio. P.S. I love your show. Well, Billy, you really need to talk to your teacher or your parents about all of this. If that doesn't work, call me, and I'll at least come and stun them real bad.
Renegade Chicken was a fan-made website hosting various Space Ghost-themed Flash animations, including one where the Ghost Planet crew invades Doctor Who, an interactive tour of the Ghost Planet TV studio, and an animation where visitors could simulate being blasted by Space Ghost himself. It also featured bonus animations of the show's main characters, as well as a Flash game, jigsaw puzzles, and several videos of the Spanish dub of Coast to Coast, among other things. Cartoon Network made a Space Ghost Coast to Coast special in 1995, nicknamed the Space Ghost Syndication Exclusive Special, which was shown on local Fox networks in 1995. It included the episodes Bobcat, Batmantis, and Jerk, as well as new segments between the episodes in which Space Ghost promised a rocket ship full of cash from those syndication weasels for doing an hour-long comedy special, although the syndication suits don't show up with the money promised at the end.
I've been here an hour. I haven't seen the suits with the cruiser full of the big bucks that I so richly deserve for spreading my unique brand of comedy gold across the cosmos. So you know what that means?
What does it mean?
It means I'm out of here. You know where to find me, Suits.
The special was considered lost media for many years, until internet user Zero_Diamond uploaded a full VHS recording of the special to the Internet Archive for preservation.
An electric attack. Endeavor, huh?
Earth Ghost was a
Megahorn,
pilot aired on Adult Swim in 2011, showing the daily life of Space Ghost on Earth.
Giga
This was
Impact,
originally
huh?
produced as a live-action pilot called Low Country, but when the pilot was rejected, the audio
Steel
from it
Roller.
was reused and incorporated into this special, which was done in computer animation as opposed to the traditional animation of Coast to Coast. Both Earth Ghost and Low Country can be found and viewed on the Adult Swim website. Space Ghost interacted with Superman in a set of promos run during
Wave
a special
crash.
showing of Superman, the animated series on Cartoon Network, with Space Ghost and Superman talking to each other about their superpowers and other topics. In a Cartoon Network promo for Primetime Tunes, Space Ghost interacted and talked with Garfield about the new block, which featured Cartoon Planet and Garfield and Friends on it. and both characters expressing excitement in getting their own primetime spot on Cartoon Network, which is
Right,
ironic
we're
since
back in
Garfield
action.
is now owned by Nickelodeon.
Every weeknight on Cartoon Network.
The new home of Garfield.
The established home of Space Ghost. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Who invited him?
Beats me.
In the halftime show segment of the Cartoon Network special The Big Game Roadrunner vs. Coyote, Moltar had a conversation with Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo about various topics, including what is featured on the Unseen Halftime Show. The segment is of Moltar and Fred's conversation, who they think would win the game,
I'm literally
Fred's
not
relationship
quick
with
balling it.
Daphne, and several others. This segment ends with Moltar and Fred realizing
Well,
they were being filmed despite being in the massive
Can Magby... There's no way Magby could kill itself, right? So... Spend all the time you want.
What, are you kidding?
Roadrunner?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Damn, 331 hours.
Yeah. Bravo.
Bravo's got one. When did he start that?
Thursday? He was in the commissary. No, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Why? Which one are you in?
The red guys.
You're kidding.
What?
Well, you can kiss that one.
We used to go to camp together. He said I could trust him.
And you believed him?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen. Your money.
Drac Presents the Drac album starring Drac is an album released in 2000 by Cartoon Network and Rhino Records, containing the songs from the special Drac Presents the Drac Show starring Drac. If I have to say Drac one more time, I'm gonna get a brain aneurysm. To coincide with the 2000 presidential race, Cartoon Network ran several bumpers showing the network's
You
characters
do this all
running
night,
for campaign
Magpie?
for president.
Nice.
Two of these bumpers featured Space Ghost and Drac, respectively, with Drac being entered as part of an online competition held by Cartoon Network. He lost to Scooby-Doo. Space Host, Roast to Roast, was a fan-made animated parody of Coast to Coast, which was created by Camel Moon Studios and uploaded to YouTube. The series of videos combines audio from a YouTube show by Ethan Van Sciver called Comic Artist Pro Secrets, with newly animated versions of Space Ghost, Zorak, Moltar, and Drac, who all have their designs altered to have facial hair, much like Space Ghost's evil twin brother Chad Ghostal, and realistic human lips for Space Ghost and Drac, much like Synchrovox cartoon shows such as Clutch Cargo, among other minor details. The series of videos was aimed at a more mature audience than Coast to Coast,
I have it on
often
stream.
having subjects discussed that would never be on Coast to Coast. The story behind this parody got more interesting in February 2020, when Camel Moon posted a link from its Twitter account to a campaign on Indiegogo to purchase merchandise related to the parody, including t-shirts, posters, animation cells, and even potential DVD release of it. Backlash behind it ensued almost immediately, with many users citing that Camel Moon was essentially making money off of Space Ghost and other Coast to Coast characters, with no significant design changes aside from the added mustaches and facial hair on the characters. This eventually caught the attention of Warner Bros., who issued Camel Moon a cease and desist order, forcing them to end the series, much to nobody's surprise. Because of this, it is notable for being the only parody work of Coast to Coast to catch the legal attention of Warner Bros.
Abyssal. I think I'm there's only a couple minutes left. I think I'll just watch the whole thing. Call it a day after that.
An uncensored cut of the episode Girlies Show is known to exist, as a clip of it was featured in a tribute video to C. Martin Croker, who, I actually haven't mentioned this up until now. He didn't only voice Zorak and Moltar, he also did a lot of animation and writing on this show. He was like one of the driving forces behind the show. Anyway, it was uploaded by the show's editor Tom Roach, specifically the part where Zorak tells Space Ghost that he is on strike before Space Ghost tells him to watch the gutter language. In the broadcasted version of the scene, Zorak says,
"With your show, you... I'm on strike."
Hey pal, watch the gutter language. This is a woman's show.
In the uncensored version, this line is revealed to be,
"The hell with your show, you fuck. I'm on strike."
Hey pal, watch the gutter language. This is a woman's show.
Despite this uncensored cut of the episode being known to exist, all home media releases and subsequent airings of the episode are the way it was first broadcasted onto Cartoon Network. There's two backmasked messages in Coast to Coast, both of which are said by Zorak. Backmasking, for those that don't know, is when a message meant to be heard
Alright,
normally
fighting
is
type.
deliberately played backwards, so the listener can reverse the audio to decipher it. The first of the two backmasked messages is in the episode The Justice Hole, in which Zorak comments after Space Ghost starts teaching guest Dave Thomas how to fire lasers with his power bands.
Let's give it a whirl.
When played normally, the line is just gibberish, but when the line is played backwards,
Let's give it a whirl.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
the second backmasked message occurs in the episode Sweet for Brak, which happens after
Jack
Zorak
Black.
eats a goat and spits it out, resulting in him getting demonically possessed and saying backwards gibberish as his eyes move slowly upwards to the shock of Space Ghost.
What's that mean?
When this moment is played backwards, Zorak can be heard saying,
What's that mean?
Additionally, a moment in the episode Needle Drop pokes
Whoa.
fun at the backmasking moral panic of the 1980s with this dialogue.
Hey, Maltar, kick it!
I hear something.
Ooh, this rocks.
Hold on, I can't dance to this.
Play it backwards.
No, don't! Something scary could happen.
A ghost!
A small white ghost emerges from Moltar's monitor as a result of the rock music being played backwards, and haunts Space Ghost, Zorak, Moltar, and the guests for the rest of the episode until Space Ghost finally destroys the other ghost. During the early years of Coast to Coast, episodes of the 1960s Space Ghost cartoon and the Space Ghost segments of Space Ghost were aired with a bizarre, out-of-place
That's kinda not
laugh
fair.
track, and they aired after episodes of Coast to Coast for time filler. Only one clip of this bizarre laugh track version of Space Ghost has been found online, which is a clip from the Space Stars episode Attack of the Space Sharks.
Whales are blubbery food. Sharks are so free.
Who are you?
I am Remora of the water planet of Liquid. And now, you visitors. Looks like there's only one way in, through the front door. Knock, knock. Well,
Very little is known, outside of their existence, of these laugh track
Wow.
versions, and they were dropped from airing once Cartoon Network had enough episodes of Space Ghost Coast to Coast to air for a full 30-minute time slot. When Coast to Coast was first released onto DVD, several episodes were excluded from the DVDs due to licensing issues with some of the content featured on them. As a result, Adult Swim held a special Bootleggers Marathon, which ran the episodes that were excluded from the DVDs uncut, allowing fans and viewers to save and record episodes for future preservation. The episodes that aired during this marathon were Self-Help, Gum Disease, President's Day Nightmare, and Le Livre d'Histoire, with the original segments from A Space Ghost Christmas also
if it has
being
the
shown between
hidden
the 4
ability.
episodes.
Does not have the hidden ability. What a dummy.
Welcome to the show. I'm David Allen Greer, filling in for the vacationing Space Ghost.
A clip from a comedy sketch show
The heck?
features David Allen Greer as Space Ghost, with his head superimposed over Space Ghost's body to make it look like he's filling in for him. The footage used for this sketch is taken from a promotional segment made for promoting Johnny Quest VHS tapes, which featured Johnny Quest as Space Ghost guests. While the clip was a part of a sketch where David Allen Greer filled in for various talk show hosts, it is unknown which show it originated from, and the Space Ghost clip is the only known clip of that particular sketch that has
Oh,
been
I guess I
found.
didn't need any other Pokemon.
Space Ghost, voiced by George Lowe, made 2 appearances on Loveline, a radio call-in program offering medical and relationship advice to its listeners. The first of these appearances was done in 1997, and the second one done a year later. The show's host at the time, Adam Carolla, would be a guest for the Coast to Coast episode Toast, where he gives Space Ghost some dating advice, and was also produced in 1998. Both of Space Ghost's appearances can be found and heard on YouTube and the Loveline Tapes fan website dedicated to archiving Loveline episodes. And these appearances remain by far the most bizarre Space Ghost guest appearances done.
There's a reason she's crying in the middle of it. At the very least, you sort of think of it as she uses her sexuality, and that's what she did to begin with.
And then once she went further into the relationship, it became overwhelming, and all these feelings came up, and she can't tolerate the intimacy.
You know, if I may be so bold, boys, it's your Space Ghost take on it. Matt, are you still with me?
Yeah.
What you need to do is establish an adequate mood for love. And for me, this is always done through music, and most notably, Space Ghost Surf and Turf, now available on Rhino Records and quality music stores everywhere.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm sorry, I had to do that.
Matt?
Got a big note right here, work in plug. Sorry, Matt, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
As part of the Cartoon Network NBA All-Star Slam, a special interview segment was made with Space Ghost being interviewed by Los Angeles Clippers player Elton Brand for a series of interviews where NBA basketball players interviewed their favorite cartoon characters. While the Space Ghost interview and many others are lost media, other interviews made for the event have been found and uploaded online, including a Bugs Bunny interview animated by C. Martin Croker, Coast to Coast's lead animator. In 2010, a special Coast to Coast interview was made with Jack Black in his second Coast to Coast appearance, his first being Sweet for Brack as part of Tenacious D, about the film Gulliver's Travel, which would be released later that year. The promo aired on Adult Swim around that time, but has not been found in any form since, making it lost media. Fellow cartoon superhero The Tick, voiced by Townsend Coleman, was going to be interviewed by Space Ghost for the episode Damn through newly edited footage. However, this idea was scrapped due to Charlton Heston's interview for the episode being long enough to use for the entire runtime of the episode, and it would have been too costly to animate the new footage of the Tick for the interview. And there you have it.
Where does the courage come from? The little red light on top of that camera.
Over 100 items have been covered for this iceberg video, and I'm pretty sure that I missed a few things as well, given my track record. But now that this video is out to the public, I hope you've taken something away from this. Of course, I'm referring to the impressive legacy that Coast to Coast has garnered for itself. I think that goes without saying at this point. But looking at this in a wider scope, and the reason that the video is formatted like this in the first place, is that preservation of media of all kinds is a necessity. There's just so many things out there that are unable to be dissected and analyzed, because there's no copy in existence that we know of. Obviously, that's not the fault of the consumers, as it really shouldn't be our jobs to preserve this media in the first place. Instead, the responsibility falls into the laps of the producers of this content and those above them, who should make it as readily available as possible for as many people as possible. Otherwise, piracy will run rampant, and worse, media will be lost completely. Now obviously this can't always be the case for one reason or another. It's not as black and white as I made it out to be. And I'm not blaming anyone for that if it just happens to be out of their hands for matters that are just beyond their control. We're all human after all. However, that's when the consumers do get involved in preservation of media. And thanks to the wonders of the internet and social media, media preservation had made leaps and strides. Even Coast to Coast itself, most of the media that I talked about today, I was able to talk about thanks to the wonderful fans who were able to archive it. But even then, there's still a lot of media.
That's gonna be it
some
for
of which
me.
I haven't even
Video's
talked about
over.
because there's literally not enough information out there.
And
It
I'm just
basically
about
be
done
talking
here.
about something with a baseless foundation and not
Heal.
enough evidence or information to make a
Holiday.
solid
I'm
entry.
not gonna open the
Not
Pokemon pack
everything
today.
online
I'm
is
a
safe.
little tired
Something
for
can
that.
be taken down in the blink of an eye.
But
I
next
mean,
time we'll
we've all used
do
YouTube before, so I think
two
we know that
packs.
hardback pretty well. So I urge you all to take media preservation seriously and help out anyone who is looking to find some lost media to archive.
Alright.
If you have any information at all,
That's gonna
share
be
with
it for
others
me,
and make
guys.
more people know
Hope you
about it
guys
so that it can be properly
know,
preserved.
chilled
Because you
and
never know
played some
when,
games in the background as I was
out of
doing
nowhere,
this. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna get on and stream, but I did, and Pumpkin showed up, but Pumpkin decided not to do the raid, so at least I got it done with Shinobi. Appreciate you, Shinobi. Thanks for the help as always. Hope you guys have a good night, good afternoon, whatever part of the world in the next one.